Dimp Digital presents Idle Game Chat.
Cool.
Hello, Apps here from Dimp Digital. Welcome to Idle Game Chat. This is the weekly video games podcast where we give our impressions of the games that you can play today and react to the latest goings on from the wonderful world of video games. We're here on your favourite podcast app and YouTube, absolutely free. This week, I am joined by a disgraced and dishonest Dimp Digital gaming quiz charlatan. It's Le Cheat, Tom Adkins, not Adcock. How's it going?
Oh, not good, mate. Shit week. Wow. I say shit week. It's been a brilliant week for Elden Ring coverage.
You've had some real good time to pump into that.
I have. Well, I started the week thinking I had COVID. Fucking disaster.
Well,
what's going on with this arm? Hold on.
Here we go.
Fucking technical problems on day one.
Well, at least it weren't as bad as last week when I completely flummered the opening and then didn't even decide to go back and fix it, just left it.
Right,
Adkins is having some technical issues. Whilst Adkins gets himself sorted and I'll get things up and running, this is a grassroots and independent outfit hailing from the great county of Essex, and you can support us by heading over to patreon.com/dimpdigital and becoming a member of the community. We appreciate anyone who does that, and we appreciate our current patrons that go and take that step. Also, you can go to twitch.tv/dimpdigital and subscribe there, either via a normal subscription, or if you've got Amazon Prime, you can for free subscribe to the channel and give us, and in pocket, money. I think it's less than the Patreon stuff, so do that first. I don't know if Adkins is back. He may well have.
I'm back. I thought I was going to have to John Motson that for the rest of the pod. Just hold it.
That wouldn't be a bad thing to do. I remember when Logan did Dimp News years ago, about 6 years ago on the YouTube channel. He held his mic up like Motti.
Like Motti.
I think
that should be like a. If we get so many subs, we'll do one. We'll do a couple of Mottis.
I wouldn't mind that, but I'm forever fucking about with things on here, whether it's to change the scene or to scroll down rundowns and whatnot. So I kind of need two hands to do this.
Yeah,
I believe.
No.
I haven't fucking recorded this. That's a real stinker. That's all right because we can get it from the stream, fortunately. But I'll start recording that now. So
that's burning garbage fire that we are. Train ended. That's it. It's not been a good week. I started off thinking I had COVID.
Good.
And then I didn't have it. I got rumbled. I got the old man flu.
Every human now, every time you get any sort of every human
day one
that now gets a cold or starts getting unwell, you're just going to immediately think you've got COVID.
Not the big C, the little C.
To be honest, in a few months, you'll see those cases drop out because the free testing in the UK is gone. So you've got to fucking pay for it. People won't. Yeah. So it will just be flushed away whether we like it or not. So no one's going to be paying bank for that. They need to.
Well, I don't even have to. If I had it, I could just go out and just give it to everyone. Don't even have to.
That is true. The guidance suggests you should do otherwise, but there's no reason to do that.
Go down the X and give it back to the thousands.
Yeah, that is the breeding ground for it anyway. We know the best way to start a podcast.
Oh, we got a big one.
There's only one way to do this, and it's the only delay news.
Every time that blocks that out on my thing. Amazing.
Adkins said it was a big one, and it is. This is a big one. The breath
of the war.
Well, I saw. I don't know where I saw it now. I saw a screenshot on April Fool's from Santa Monica saying Ragnarok had been delayed.
Oh,
I don't know if I don't know if it even came from them or someone just made it up and has shared it. But
cool.
That's not the one that we're going to talk about. We're here to talk about the sequel to Breath of the Wild, delayed until spring 2023. And in the video they released, it stated this is in order to make this game's experience something special. Why are you not aspiring to do that all the time? Why is it taking delays? Now, look, let's be honest. I chalk this up to arseholes going at Nintendo over this Elden Ring. They want the GOTY. They want the GOTY. They don't want to be losing Game of the Year to Elden Ring. I reckon someone's sat there and gone, look, push that. Push that
out of the way. We'll give it to you.
We'll give it to you.
They did it with
spring.
Demon Souls. No, Dark Souls, wasn't it? Remastered. They got that on Switch.
Oh, yeah,
Elden Ring condensed down. That'd be a big one for them, wouldn't it?
Adcock played Dark Souls on remastered on Switch. That was his first way.
That is technically the hardest way to play it. And he's done it.
Unbelievable. Now, I kind of suspected this a little bit because we mentioned actually a few weeks ago about Xenoblade and Pokemon coming later this year.
Pokemon, that was it. Yeah,
It was like-
a lot of people have seen that saying as soon as they saw Pokemon was coming this year, they were like, right.
Did they say it out loud like us though? I doubt it. They're
Ain't got
retrospectively
the platform, have they?
Nah, crap. But that's what I was kind of half expecting. And honest, I'm a little bit relieved because I
Big one out of the way.
planned, there is that as well, but I also planned on replaying that. Doing a Horizon Zero Dawn, going back to that about 4 months before release, running through the first one. Because really, on Breath of the Wild, I've played it through once, and then I tried to play it through again. Both times, I was in breakneck mode.
Right.
Particularly towards the back end of my first playthrough. And I want to, given how disciplined I've been and was with Forbidden West, I really want to dive deep into that game, and I feel like now I will at least have the time to do that. That's that out of the way. I'm not overly disappointed in that.
No.
Now,
What they did do, which was weird, is they sort of chucked out the trailer again, but added a bit more. But I feel like it's sort of like there was a lot of rumours as to is this actually Link, because you couldn't see his face at all.
Yeah.
And they just sort of like showed you his face. It's like, oh yeah, he's Link.
well, maybe that was all along. Maybe they didn't plan. Maybe their intention wasn't to make it a mystery, and they saw the internet doing that, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, you sad cunts.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on.
See those.
It's clearly Link. He ain't had a haircut. Leave him alone.
No, that's true.
He's had a few hours off.
Did you see the Master Sword as well? All fucked up.
Oh, is it all fucked? Well,
All full out, and everyone's going, well, that's weapon degradation's still there. Fucking hell.
there's a balance to be had with weapon deg. I just feel that they got that a bit wrong.
They
but
fucked that.
We'll see. Here's the real speculation, the real question for people. Have they delayed it because they're scared of Elden Ring, which I've jokingly suggested, but I wouldn't be surprised? Or are they going to launch this alongside new hardware?
Or potentially.
We had all the rumours last year about Switch Pro, blah, 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 and we got that fucking OLED. And
Trusty OLED.
It'll be 6 years next year from the Switch's debut. We've talked about it creaking in terms of tech, in terms of keeping up appearances. Is this what they're going to do? They saw the numbers of Zelda and thought, fuck me, we shifted some units, launching a new piece of hardware with that. Let's just do it again. Let's delay it so it comes in tandem. If you're asking to be placing a bet, where would you put your money?
So that's 6 years, is it? That'll be 6 years.
That'll be 6 years.
Almost to the dot as well, wasn't it? Was it March, wasn't it?
It was March, yeah, so it won't be far off.
So yeah, they said spring, didn't they? So yeah. Core, potentially. I mean, excuse me. We have seen gen cycles that long.
Yeah.
So it's
Last
a
cycle
very...
was 7 years for PS4 and Xbox.
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah. Potential. I mean, I was thinking, was we discussing this, or was I watching something? And they were saying that Nintendo's the only one they've done was the Wii and Wii U. They've always changed consoles and they've never done a sequel of a console.
Yes, yeah.
So you feel like they would with this because of how successful this is and still going to be. But I don't know. They never seem to do what you want them to do, Nintendo.
No, they don't.
I can never fathom what they're going to do next. I think, oh yeah, this seems the logical idea, and then they go, here's a fucking paper thing. Oh yeah, I suppose the NES to Super NES is...
Yeah, but the SNES Yeah, I
Then you
kind of
got-
get that, but I'm not having it.
Yeah.
But he's now Hall's in the chat talking about Game Boy and Game Boy Advance. We're not talking about handhelds. We're talking about something you can play on your telly, even though the Switch is both. So and don't bring up really old history either. Hall. We don't care if it happens.
N64, GameCube, Wii, all three of them completely different, and Switch.
Yeah,
Yeah. There's potential for a thing, but
I didn't
It's the
spout
whole
the
no.
bollocks. That was
I'm just saying, yeah, no sequels.
clearly incorrect.
Fucking hell. But yes, that's not their go-to, and then they'll fucking end up bringing out a fucking cardboard VR system like they done last time. So you go right.
Yeah, I
Set
agree.
those ones.
I don't know what they're going to end up doing. They could just release the game. That'll be that.
I was going to say, yeah, I still feel they're just going to milk this Switch until it's died a death. Still don't think we're going to get one. A Pro.
Would not surprise me, and that's the way it's going to be. Well,
I think we still will get iteration. How many did we have from that fucking 3DS? You had the 2DS, the DS Lite.
you had the XL, the
2D
new
extra,
3DS.
thing. I think they're going to milk this. You know, we've got 3 now. Yeah, so we've got at least another 2 different versions.
Maybe they will just do different versions, and it won't be like a sequel.
Yeah, they're doing
OLED
Lite, I reckon.
Maybe it will be called Super Switch or something, and they kind of go for that little bit and piece and just keep the name going because it's so brand. Yeah, I mean, it's got the DS, DS Lite, 3DS, 2DS, DSi. I mean, yeah, maybe they will do that because we know this is a handheld because it is. It's a hybrid system, but take the lowest baseline. It's a handheld.
I think I'm going to put my money on that they moved this. Obviously, I think Elden Ring probably did have a thing, but I think they need to push. I think if they have got other games coming out, they're like Pokemon, Xenoblade. All the marketing's going to be on Zelda, isn't it? So I feel like they push this to give room for the other ones.
They don't need to release it this year now. They've got Xenoblade. No. I mean, Xenoblade's not. I don't think it's going to be massively popular. Famous last words, and then it sells 50 million. But Pokemon absolutely is a juggernaut. So you know, why not just give that its own quarter and say off you go, buy that all through Christmas, and then we'll be back in the new year. Also, if the game isn't ready, then of course delay it. Because it must be hard squeezing these games down into that Switch. Breath of the Wild didn't run particularly well.
No.
On that either. But we will see. But that's cleared up the schedule for me. It's kind of given me a nice window to squeeze in Breath of the Wild at some point. So I'll certainly get to that. Next bit of business. I've put this under housekeeping because I should have brought it up last week. I was waffling about the GDC Awards, saying, oh yeah, the last piece of the awards puzzle, and then I forgot. I'm not taking the blame for this because they didn't even promote it themselves. I barely heard a whiff of it on any games website, and even their own YouTube account decided to release a montage of the winners on the 24th of March, and then the full ceremony was released on the 28th. And by then, Will Smith had slapped Chris Rock. It's like, I'm no way I'm sitting through a fucking awards ceremony without some violence. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they're releasing the full video when it's available, and then releasing the montage after. But that's neither here nor there. Inscription took home Game of the Year. They'd been on other nominee lists and hadn't quite got the big one. That took the Daddy Award. That stopped It Takes Two from completing the hat trick, which should have been the Game Awards, DICE, and GDC. And that's that. I did a little bit of number crunching, and I used the Game Awards, DICE, and GDC to pull through the games that received the most awards across all three. So obviously there's tons of other awards like best storytelling, animation, sound design, etc., etc. I just wanted to see what in general was receiving the most awards. It threw up some interesting results. Okay. What do you think? So there's a joint first place here.
Ooh.
Any guesses what the 2 games at the top might be?
It Takes Two.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of the noms now. Let me see the noms.
Bloody hell. Keep in mind, they don't have to have been nominated for Game of the Year. They could have been nominated for Best Sound. or something,
Best
and picked up
themed.
multiple awards in other categories.
Cool. Is it that Inscription?
No, it's not Inscription.
Oh.
In fact, that's not even in the top 5 even.
Not.
No.
Oh.
Didn't win a great deal, but was nominated a fair bit.
I'd like to think it was Guardians, but
No. Right, you've blown it. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
really?
So
Wow.
It Takes Two and Ratchet and Clank got 6 awards each across the 3 awards shows. So they were joint sort of first and second. And then one guess at the outright third. Because after that, they kind of all get squashed together as a load in like a cluster of like 2 or 3 awards. But who got outright third?
Returnal?
No. It was Forza Horizon 5.
Really? God.
Getting slagged off for its troubles, but that picked up 4 awards across the 3. And then we had Unpacking, Returnal, Guardians of the Galaxy, Final Fantasy 14, Endwalker, and Deathloop all on 3. And I didn't go any lower than that because it got silly. But yeah, so
no. What's the other game I just said?
No Inscription.
No Inscription. There was another one I said. It's gone.
No, move on.
Fucked it.
Fantasy Gaming League. No updates.
Lowers.
There's the first week in about 6 weeks that nothing has happened. Transfer window is now closed. Adkins, well, I hope you don't mind revealing. Adkins was trying to transfer stuff out, but it was already taken and he gave up and went, I'll deal with it later. That's the that's the beauty of having 3 of these throughout the year. There's no big pressure, but no changes there. I'll keep an eye on the scores and let people know as and when the new games are dropping. Paper Pipes has subscribed through Twitch Prime. Thank you very much. 39 months. We will take that all the way to the bank. Let's get into the news. Now, really only one big item that needs to be spoken about. But I wanted to do things a little bit differently. I wanted to set a scene first with loosely researched data and other interesting bits and pieces. So we've got an understanding of exactly what's going on. So before we talk about PlayStation Plus and the changes that are being made, and PlayStation Now, it's kind of been rolled into it, but we'll get to all that. Before we detail that, I came across some interesting data about subscriptions within the game industry. So this was reported by Video Games Chronicle. The data was compiled and put in an article by Axios, and they used figures and data from a firm called Ampere Analysis. So here's the headline. Gaming's Netflix or Spotify moment is still a long way off. It goes on. It says, subscription services aren't close to disrupting gaming the way they've shaken the movie and music industries, according to new data shared by industry researcher Piers Harding Rolls of Ampere Analysis. Now, if you want to question these figures, you're free to do so. But if you're questioning a man called Piers Harding Rolls, I can't help you. You know, clearly a man of legitimacy, just on namesake alone. So I won't be having that. So the long and short of it is, gaming subscription services, which includes PlayStation Plus, Game Pass, Nintendo Online, etc., equates to just 4% of the revenue in North America and European markets. So everything that's spent in the gaming industry for those markets of North America and Europe, it's only 4%, which is a lot lower than what I just assumed, because we are constantly told how it's changed the world already, and you know everyone's doing it because it makes so much money. So that's $3.7 billion compared to nearly $81 billion generated from other spending on games, which includes sales, discs, downloads, and in-game add-ons. If you want to look at Spotify, that service, the streaming service on the music industry, equates to 83% of the market share
of music
industry. According to the Recording Industry Association of America. There's a huge disparity between 83% and 4%.
Get them Saturday kids back.
Well, they might have a chance now with all this streaming malarkey. Who knows? That might have been what they needed, sort of bring all the walls down. And it's got another section here. Even gaming's biggest subscription service is still relatively small. So it talks about Game Pass here. Microsoft's disruptive Xbox Game Pass, launched in 2017, has 25 million subscribers who pay up to $15 a month. it has about a 60% share of the market. So if you look at the subscription models just in a vacuum, Game Pass is the leader with 60%. So that's pretty good, but it's 60% of 4%.
Right.
So
that's insane. Yeah.
It's starting to paint a bit of a different picture. And if we see what PlayStation didn't do, this to me is, I mean, kind of why
Go
would
for
you?
the bollards.
Yeah, it's a bit. Game Pass is a killer deal for gamers conditioned to paying $60. Kind of, we know that we get new first party games, but seen another way, it doesn't have much. It offers just over 500 revolving games, which goes up or down depending on each month. Netflix offers 3,000 movies or TV shows. Another hindrance they go on to say here: Nintendo's releases are not on this platform. It's like, yep, they're not, and they don't put their first party on it. So, I guess there's an issue of content. They're saying you can't really get everything on any single subscription service, and Nintendo and now Sony aren't even putting their major stuff on there. And then they also go on to speculate that games aren't quite as convenient as movies or music to kind of bundle into subscriptions because the time to play them, download size if you want to factor that in, people that are streaming them, there's all sorts of different bits and pieces. So I don't have any comments on that, but that kind of shocked me that the with the figures coming out at 4%, to be honest. That was like the highlight. I was like, wow, that is
low. That
paints a picture and maybe shows why PlayStation and Jim have thought we'll just be conservative here because at the moment
get those microtransactions going.
Yeah,
that's where the real moolah is.
That's exactly what has been suggested. So that's interesting. And then the second thing I wanted to pre-talk about before we talk about PS Plus is Jim Ryan, what he said and what he hasn't said, because
clever bloke.
I've been led to believe that Mr. Ryan had basically... Phil was accepted his Lifetime Achievement Award. He was up there loving it at DICE. And then the way that people talk about how this has been positioned from Sony's side, it's almost like Jim had gone up to Phil, slapped him. We're getting into these slapping now. You can do that now, apparently. You can just walk up and slap someone. And he went, "Oi!" He went, "Phil, your Game Pass is going to get it. I've got something in the back pocket that's really going to change the game, yeah? This is going to be a sucker punch. We're coming for you." And I was like, oh yeah, of course he said that, because I'm sure they would have mentioned something like that. So I actually went to have a look to see actually what Jim Ryan and what PlayStation had said on this subject, and I could find one interview of Jim Ryan addressing this, and it was from November 2020. It was an interview with TASS, which is the Russian news site. I looked, it's still up. But yeah, I don't know how long that'll stay up, but you can still access it. And there's a ream of questions on there, tons, and then there is just this one little question at the bottom, and it says, "How will you respond to Microsoft Game Pass?" Like I said, this is almost 18 months ago, and his quote is, "There's actually news to come, but not today. We have PlayStation Now, which is our subscription service, and that's available in a number of markets." So that's Jim's aggressive. Right, we're coming for you. This is it. This is going to be the Game Pass competitor. To me, that's very nonchalant. That's very, very low key. That's almost dismissive. I don't want to talk about it because I don't have anything. Because he mentions PlayStation Now immediately after. So we've got that. But as I put this into the Google machine to try and find out the response, this other article kept coming up from April 2021, and this is reamed across all the main media websites. And here's the headline: Sony is reportedly working on an Xbox Game Pass counterpunch. I was like, oh, here's the combative article. Right, this is where we're going to get the real details, and this is probably what people are referring to. And then you read the subtitle. I'll just pick one at random. God of War creator David Jaffe says people at Sony have told him that Game Pass competitor is on the works. That ain't come from Sony Direct, is it? That's Jaffe. No. That's Jaffe getting stoned off his head and sharing conversations he's had.
What a lad.
So I don't know what's happened. I don't know if people have remembered that article, the counterpunch term that is in brackets and in quotations across every single article, and then just applied Jim's earlier interview and gone, that's what he said. When in fact, Jaffe...
Classic bit of journalism.
Well, thank you. That's what we're hoping for. Get an award for that, hopefully. When do they hand out the journalist awards?
Well, got to be coming up.
Yeah, don't
But
want it.
that's incredible.
But no, that because all the chat I've seen leading in was, they've been positioning this as this. This is what Sony have been telling us, and I was like, they haven't said much. Now, maybe I missed something. I didn't spend a lot of time doing this, but happy to be corrected. Happy for people to have their say. But that's all I could find. There's actually news to come. Nearly 18 months ago.
18 months. He's in the back burner. Fucking Jim Ryan.
That was scared, wasn't it? It's fascinating because it's a written interview. And it's got tons of questions on it. And actually, they bollock him about there being no PlayStation Now in Russia. And he's like, you can clearly tell he's like, bumbling to try and he's like, basically he says, Russia's too big. You can't get the infrastructure in there. So all these questions have like a good, solid paragraph of answers from Jim. This one has 2 lines. It's like,
really?
Fuck off, I ain't ready for this. Just try and launch the PS5. 'Cause it would have been around that time.
Of course, yeah, it would have been.
Anyway, we've set the table. People can choose to take that information and do what they wish with it. Here we go then. PlayStation blog. And this is the headline. This is what Jim said. So now we have to talk about what his actual words are. All new PlayStation Plus launches in June with 700 plus games and more value than ever. Questionable to say more value than ever. Because you're asking for more money than ever. But let's run through each of the different options that people are going to have now. So
they fucked it already, didn't they? Because we told them last week what their top tier could have been called.
It should have been called.
And they've already blown it. So let's hear what they're called and tell us what they've blown.
Yeah. So the first one we've got is PlayStation Plus Essential.
Been shopping down Waitrose.
Yeah, oh my God. Right. Considering there is no change to this service, this is PlayStation Plus. This is the same price. It's the same benefits. Why have you taken the step to call it Essential? Just leave it. So this is PlayStation Plus as you know it today. Don't worry about that. 'Cause that's not what we're here to talk about today.
The amount of people that don't know this information, they'll see something come up and go, PlayStation Essential. Well, I ain't applied for this.
Oh, they had fucking Biff in my fucking WhatsApps going, what's all this?
Really?
What, am I getting Ragnarok for free? I was like, no! I was like, Phil's done you like a kipper here, Jim. Everyone's talking about it. It's like, right, I'll tell you what it is. It's this. And you weren't impressed. And I didn't hear from him. So, So for those that don't know, you get 2 monthly downloadable games. You get exclusive discounts, cloud storage, online multiplayer access. United Kingdom prices are $6.99 a month, $19.99 per quarter, and $49.99, 50 UK pounds in real money. So there's no change to the price there. The biggest thing for me, and I said this last week, is I was concerned that they would use this as an opportunity to spring up the bottom tier pricing and be like, well, this is what we're trying to offer them. We're offering more, but they're not really. But they've left it alone. It's about the best thing I can say about this tier. They just left it alone. They've kept the 12-month discount options in there, which I use. And there's even a quote that Jim's been seen talking to Games Industry.biz where he says 2/3 of people are on annual subscriptions, so they're taking advantage of the quote-unquote discounted price. Is whether you believe that or not is up to you. So they don't have to worry about that. You didn't need to change the name. You could have just left it. Anyway, it's where they get a little bit, not complicated, but they start to ramp things up. We've got PlayStation Plus Extra. So we've got Essential and now Extra. Provides all the benefits from the Essential tier, so goes without saying that you'll keep that. And this adds a catalogue of up to 400 of the most enjoyable PS4 and PS5 games. How do you measure that? How do you measure most enjoyable?
That is,
Liars.
that's going to be...
Liars.
That's going to be the best ones are left out.
Yeah. We've purposely picked the best sellers and left them off this because they're still making money. Including blockbuster hits from our PlayStation Studios catalogue and third-party partners. Games in the extra tier are downloadable to play only. So there's no streaming here. Prices on this one for the UK. £10.99 if you want to pay monthly. £31.99 if you want to play quarterly. And then £83.99, £84 in real money if you want to pay yearly. So That is that's more money. Absolutely, that's a bit of a premium there. And then getting on to the actual premium one, this is the one that's kind of, I think, the worst. The worst of the lot. PlayStation Plus Premium.
Platinum.
It should have been called PlayStation Platinum.
Should have been called. You've done that right, and you've fucked it.
Blown it away. Provides all the benefits from Essential and Extra tiers. Adds up to 340 additional games, including, and this is the sickener, PS3 games available via cloud streaming. No! What are you... No! Oh!
I don't get this.
I do. Lazy.
Yeah.
Come back to that, but that's the... Anyway, a catalogue of beloved classic games in both streaming and download options. Bit of a concern that they mentioned both, so some might only be streaming only, some might be download only. Ooh. On the original PlayStation, PS2 and PSP generations. Cool. Time-limited game trials will also be offered in this tier, so customers can try select games before they buy. $13.49 a month, $39.99 a month, or $99.99 UK pounds in real money per year. Sorry, $39.99 per quarter. So look, I don't think we need to talk about PlayStation Plus Essential. They've left it alone. That's about as good a job they could do with that. Don't fuck with it. They didn't. Fine, fair enough, Jim.
Who's getting extra? Well, depending what they offer.
I'll tell you what. Actually, I'll run through a few extra details, and then we'll come back. They've referenced 6 games, which I assume will go into PlayStation Plus and above. Death Stranding. It's one you called out last week, so well done. God of War 2018.
Is that director's quote? Or?
It just says Death Stranding.
Yeah, I thought that.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Right, that makes you wonder. Guess how much it was to upgrade to that? £5. Just put the director's cut in. Like, maybe they will. Maybe they will. I don't know. But they've not said it there. No. Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, that's a weird one. I know they did. Was it? Who was it? Was it PlayStation? No, they got. I know it was on that PS. The PlayStation Plus. What did they do? The collection, was it?
Yes.
On the PS5,
yes.
I believe. They did 10 on that.
That's another good point, because some of those games, I don't know if there's any crossover. I haven't checked, but I thought of Mortal Kombat as the one I kind of picked out. But I wonder whether future games, like they might put Monster Hunter World on there. It's like, well, I've already got that.
Get that Rise on console.
I've already got that. And then the final one, which is my predictions come true, Returnal.
Yeah,
so both got one in there, which is there. More details to come. Here's an important one: PlayStation Now customers will migrate over to the PlayStation Plus Premium tier with no increase to their current subscription fees at launch. So I've got PlayStation Now until next year, until next July. Cool. So I'm going to be dumped on that top one, whether I like it or not. To be fair, I was expecting it to do it in the middle. Yeah, but they haven't. I'm not overly. I think that's about as good a job they could do with that. With clearly what they're gonna offer. What's really interesting about that is I went to look to see if you could still buy PlayStation Now, and I was like, well, you know what? If I can find that for a year at like £40, I'll top that up and I'll just have 3 years and stack it.
Yeah.
Jim has nuked PlayStation Now.
No,
you can't find it on any third-party sellers like Shop2, CD Keys, Game, all gone. Now, we did see an article go up, if you remember, I think earlier this year, saying, they've started removing PlayStation Now from retailers. So you can clearly see they were looking at this loophole thinking, right, get all that off the shelves before we announce this. So the time to act was back then. As soon as I saw that, he does know. And do you know what's even more interesting? I went on eBay to see if there's any on there. Not a sausage.
Really?
Jim is somehow... I'm sure there's going to be a few stragglers now, but...
eradicated.
He fucking nuked
he urged
PlayStation Now.
Probably must be a friend of the show.
He is.
Jim's... What's his name? Phil's been watching. Phil found out about your loophole with the pound special on Game Pass deals, and he's gone, look, we've got a couple of people on here. And he's gone, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fucking absolutely obliterate PS Now. And he's done it.
He's done it.
Incredible.
That's what he's gone for. So I don't know how he's managed that, but they have...
That's a good deal, though. That's two good deals out of that. Leaving that alone and upgrading...
Yeah.
Rewarding, really, for for doing that.
Yeah, that's not bad considering I was thinking they're going to just really make the mess of this. I mean, it's the overall package is not great, but they are looking after people that are either happy on the lowest tier, which is most people, or those that have been stupid enough like me to sign up for PlayStation Now. As a test, I was doing it for this podcast mainly.
Yeah.
And now they can benefit off that. $8.99, I think. I think you can still do it monthly up until now, but that'll obviously change to 13 quid. So if you want the premium. So Jim's also confirmed in an interview there's going to be no first party games day one. So this is hugely conservative. There's a couple of quotes here where he kind of explains why that's the case. He says, "We feel like we're in a good virtuous cycle with the studios, where investment delivers success, which enables yet more investment, which delivers yet more success. We like that cycle, I bet you fucking do, and we think our gamers like that cycle." He continues, "In terms of putting our own games into that service or any of our services upon release, as you well know, that is not a road that we've gone down in the past. And it's not a road we're going to go down with this new service. We feel if we were to do that, the games that we make at PlayStation Studios, the virtuous cycle would be broken. The level of investment that we need to make in our studios would not be possible, and we think the knock-on effect of the quality of the games would make something that gamers don't want." Now, he's basically saying, look, if we do that, we can't make the games as good as what we've been making them, which is a fair thing to say, but that piles the pressure on now. Right. You know, we make great games, and you'll pay for them, and you'll continue paying for them because we'll continue making great games, and we can only achieve that through the traditional model. Now, what happens if this virtuous cycle that he mentions breaks? You know, they go through a rough patch of poorly received games. You don't have the value proposition there anymore. So Game Pass, if nothing else, is a bit of a safety net for Xbox, isn't it? If something goes on there and it's it's like, well, it's on Game Pass. You know, what did you expect? You can sort of shrug your shoulders and move on. It gives them some room to operate. Jim's really boxed himself in here. It's like, we have to make the best games. And look, carry on making great games. I'll back you. But the second you don't, all this stuff's going to come flooding back, and all this words you are saying now, not the stuff that people were making up earlier, will come up and bite you on the arse. He does, however, interestingly leave the door open. And he says, "The way the world is changing so very quickly at the moment, nothing is forever." And he goes on to talk about the PC, saying, well, who would have thought 4 years ago that, you know, would have been putting PC games, PlayStation games on PC, blah, blah, blah. People didn't see that coming. Quote, "So I don't want to cast anything in stone at this stage. All I'm talking about today is the approach we're taking in the short term. The way our publishing model works right now, it doesn't make any sense. But things can change very quickly in this industry, as we all know." So look, that is a door open jobby. If we need to evolve it, we can. I think with the tiers they've got, they could easily... I mean, you slot those in the top tier, obviously. You wouldn't put them in the middle tier. It still will be... Well, if you pay annually, it'll be about the same price as Game Pass. But if you're playing monthly, you're getting shafted. So the bare minimum they get is this new sort of streamlined platform, all called PlayStation Plus, and they can build on it if they wish to. So, with all that out the way, what's your tipple? Because last week you were saying you'll get it. I'll get it.
I'll have it. Yeah, I probably still will, even though I want to see. When I saw the quote of 700 plus, I was thinking, fucking hell, that seems a lot. How many are on Game Pass right now?
I'll try and look.
Looking at that.
You carry on chatting. I'll try and
carry
find.
On. It reminds me of Vince here. Going, we're two different. We're not selling the same product.
Yeah.
Wrestling though, mate, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, no, this is a streaming service. They ain't, but they are. It is, yeah. I think the thing is, and I've noticed that Xbox have been tweeting incessantly since this announcement. This is that we deliver first-party games day in day, and that is their selling point. And I think that is the big difference here. But what he's doing with this fucking streaming bollocks on there, how's that? Fuck it out. What are we doing here?
I don't know.
Unlimited resources, and they're waffling that out.
Yeah, that's just not good enough. So
Unbelievable.
just go onto the Game Pass website. 452 in the console space, 417 on PC, so 400 odd.
400.
I mean,
yeah, so
look,
he's quoting 7.
Who needs 400 games is what I would say.
Exactly,
Just,
I was gonna say,
just to be real. But
Yeah.
the other sort of extra 300 is from that back compat library.
Right. Yeah.
But you're what you're saying premium for you?
I probably will. Yeah. Just
Right.
don't know. Like I don't think it's a concern. I just think I will anyway. I don't like.
So what would you pay? Because you for a long time were paying monthly.
Yeah,
Have
it
you-
was. Yeah.
Have you stopped doing that? Are you paying
I
yearly
stopped
now?
doing that now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm yearly now. Only because of CD keys. That's the thing I'd like to see. Is will
Yeah.
they get premium? Will Jim allow this now?
True. Will we see? CD
So I
keys?
assume you'll still be able to get the essential ones for, you could get them for 35, 40 quid, couldn't you?
Mm.
I wonder if that will carry on. Awesome.
Possible. I
there's
mean,
still,
yeah, it depends how they procure them all, but
you can't even get them these days.
anything is possible. There's a lot of stuff out of stock actually after this, I noticed. So
I suppose everyone's topping up now, aren't they?
yeah.
On another note, have you ever used the website Simply Games?
Yes.
It's completely gone.
What?
It's just got there's loads of people talking about it on Twitter. For like the last 2 months, it's been saying we're currently undergoing scheduled maintenance. So there's people that have got all like, what's it called? Like pre-orders and stuff. And they've just, I don't know what's that. No one can find out anything that's happened to it.
I'll tell you what. Look, not to wish ill of a company going down, but Logan will be pleased because they're the ones that delivered one of his games to the wrong flat all those years ago.
Oh, really?
He never forgave them. Bloody hell!
There's literally been no
Not a
tweets
sausage.
on them or nothing.
Oh yeah,
So-
look, I can see on the old AV forums they've got threads started
Is it-
about it. Yeah, bloody hell.
Oh, really? Yeah, I don't know. So I just want to go on a tangent there. But, yeah. I don't know. I'm interested to see what these types of games is. I think they're going to go for some heavy-hitting third-party games, I think, just because that does seem to be their way of business at the minute. Since the backlash of the Activision deal, they seem to have been picking up these studios here and there. So I feel like we might get some good games, and it's going to get to the point. Well, I mean, I'm buying less and less games these days now.
Well, keep getting longer and longer.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that is
200-hour bloaters come out in the space of a week.
True. Yeah, that is true. That is a stinker. But
So you're looking at premium.
I'm looking at premium. Yeah.
What's your thoughts about backwards compatibility / retro games being locked to the subscription service that you can't, like Nintendo, you can't buy these sort of a la carte, $5 for Super Mario World or whatever. I won't be able to go on this and just buy Metal Gear Solid if I want it, if it's there.
Nah.
What do you think about that? Should there be an option for those that don't want to pay $13.49 a month or £100 a year to just buy the games outright? Because that seems like a bit of a blower.
It does feel like a bit of a blower, but in a business sense, I can see why they're doing it, because they want subscribers. So they're holding you fucking to the knife there. But
grab a beer.
if the tech's there, then they definitely should allow you to do that, because the infrastructure's already there. It's obviously working. It's just a cheeky way of them doing that, because they know they've got you by the bollard, so you'll subscribe. So yeah, I can see it in the business sense, but no, I think people should have the option if they don't want to, especially if, like you say, you're someone who's just an essential user, like I assume Biff or someone.
He
Then
doesn't even have that.
Cool. Has he not got PS Plus at all?
No.
Yeah.
So I asked him about whether he's going to ask for any help for Elden Ring. He went, I haven't got PlayStation Plus. I
Yeah.
was like, you fucking loser.
So with that in mind, so say Biff just wants to download Metal Gear Solid 4 for a little run through.
Well, he can't.
We can't.
Streaming.
Jim's got him bad. Yeah.
That's still the big blow. I mean, we could kill that, just point to the ground. But PlayStation 3 still being via cloud when there's emulators out there running on worse hardware.
Unbelievable.
Someone's fucked up with that PlayStation 3 royally, haven't they? That cell process and all that garbage.
Especially,
what a misstep.
On Game Pass, you had games like Red Dead Redemption that were getting 4K updates.
And you can go all the way back to Xbox One. One thing we mentioned about, they should offer the option to buy the retro games they've been referred to separately. I think they should. But then there's people like, you're blocking backwards compatibility behind a paywall. You're asking people to pay for these games. Even if you did it a la carte, you'd still be asking them to pay for games they already own. And I was like, right, I ain't got any discs from '97. Who really has got? They've got their PlayStation library. Like, there's going to be some losers out there, but most people aren't going to have their PlayStation discs out there and be like, "Oh, I'll put my CD into my PS5 and that'll better work." It's like it's just not. That's not a realistic expectation. But anything digital should be, PS3 libraries for people just being like, "Well, that doesn't exist." It don't matter what you bought on PS3, that's getting flushed because it's in this streaming service and nothing else.
Well, it's a ridiculous model. Yeah, they seem to have blown this, really. Names, topping off with a name, and then now this. Yeah, I wonder if they're going to revert, if there is enough backlash for it. Like you say, he's not sold on it. He said that, nothing's forever. But
I just think, how many people are going to sign up to Premium just because of the retro games? Exactly, how many people really are just going to say, I'm going to stay subscribed to this because it's the only way? Like, they'll fucking emulate it, for one, if they're that bothered.
Yeah.
It's like, you might as well just offer the option for them to buy it outright, and then they'll buy it. You'll get £5 that they wouldn't have got. Maybe charge a tenner and be like a bit like naughty about it.
Yeah.
But I don't understand that, to be quite honest. But that's what they've done. The real thing to me, this was lacking detail. Really, it's set the foundation, but the actual content's not been filled out at all, which is kind of understandable. It's not launched until June in the primary market, so it's still a good few months. And then again, oh god, we had people waffling garbage about why are they announcing this when Xbox announced Game Pass? They came in and was bashing their chest and they had this, that, and the other. And I was like, I don't think they did. So again, I looked it up. And I went and looked up, and I found the original Xbox Wire post, or it's actually just on the news site. Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, 28th of February 2017. Blah 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 blah. Gives all the prices, $9.99. And here's the content that they apparently came spitting fire with that was going to make people think, oh my god, this is amazing. With great games from top industry publishers such as 2K, 505 Games, Bandai Namco, Capcom, Codemasters, Deep Silver, Focus Interactive, Sega, SNK Corporation, THQ, Warner Brothers Interactive, and Microsoft Studios. So no games, but just the publishers. Thanks for name checking those. I know them, but okay. There's something for everyone to enjoy, and you'll always find something exciting to play across a variety of genres. We have what? Oh, here we go. Some of the fan favourite titles coming to Xbox Game Pass when it launches, and to the broader Xbox community later this spring, end up being June. Halo 5 Guardians. Crapped on by that point. Payday 2. This next one, NBA 2K16. And this last one's a real joke because it's a fucking gen old. Soul Calibur 2.
Oh, blimey. Now that is your selling point.
Come on, people.
That's how you sell a prescription.
Don't make up. Don't change the past and make up realities. And don't.
A lot of people.
They were like, they announced it and released it the next week. I was like,
no, they didn't.
Come on, stop.
Come on.
Talking shit all your lives.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the trouble is because it's been so well received now.
Oh yeah.
The Green Bloods will.
No, and they should because they're getting. It's now two camps, isn't it? You've got Dr. Value and Phil saying value, 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 and then you've got Jim saying premium, premium, premium.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, there's two camps there, and again we go back to the very beginning of the podcast. People saying put your first party stuff in, and look, as a consumer, great. I'd love that if they did that. You know, I'd love even more if they charged me nothing and I just got it for free. But they're not gonna. Remember, this is for 4% of the market share at the moment.
That is insane. That's a good bit of journalism from you to get them deets.
That's not to say that it won't grow. because it obviously will.
Yeah, it will. Yeah.
But at present,
Up to 5.
why would you upset the apple cart? That is
Yeah.
obviously corporate tying that on, but you can't live in a reality where you're not taking into account actually what's going on. People, I've told this story about 3 million times. I made my own reality up for the Metal Gear Solid 5. I'd decided how it should end, and it was going to close the saga out. And guess what? That didn't happen, and I was stung. So from that day onwards, I was like, right, whatever my expectations are, I need to ground them in some level of reality. And if you're grounded in reality, you would have seen this very conservative and quite boring announcement happen. It's clear as day. That was what was going to happen. But what we've got is a news cycle and media that just... I want to do a supercut of just listening to every podcast for the week, like the main ones, just see how many times they say Game Pass and value, and just and just cut it all together. Just see. But to be fair to Phil, like that is the PR on Xbox this gen has been chef's kiss. Just think how much of a legion they've got of just people who are vocally willing to bang that drum, and really you can't argue with it from a value proposition.
No.
So really it comes down to this extra tier for me, and I'm going to be really interested to see what they do in that space and what they add, because that's where they're going to be putting the third party and first party stuff. The premium basically gives you streaming and retro, so that's going to probably be quite static. Maybe they will do what Nintendo does and add stuff, but if you are looking for any competition for Game Pass, it's going to sit in that extra tier with third parties and later first party offerings. Who knows? They might just keep it like PlayStation Now, where it's not really worth... it's okay, but it's not worth writing home about. So I'm more interested to see if they're actually less or more aggressive in that area. And they're like, right, let's lock down a couple of third-party first day ones. Indie games, for example. We've had a lot of things like Death's Door that has recently gone on, Tunic, Weird West. Yeah. Xbox got a really nice indie catalogue building on Game Pass, which is a great place for those games to sort of flourish. So I'll be interested to see if they change the approach, or whether in fact what we've got here is someone said to Jim, Alan went, Jim, and why have we got PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus? What are these two pieces of shit? And he's like, well, one's for this one. He's like, put it under one bracket. Do that, please. And that's...
Pretty bad shit.
Yeah, don't worry about putting any more money into it. Don't do that. But if you could extract more, then do it.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what happens, because... if it carries on as PS Now, it'll be just a bit of a shoulder shrug, I think. But if they start to attempt to challenge significantly, that'll be interesting to watch. But again, at the moment, they're fighting over fucking scraps. Yeah. We've talked about really Jim and his live service plans.
Cool. Get them in. That's where the money's at.
That's where he wants to put his money.
Yeah, he knows. He's seen them $4. 4%. That's unbelievable. 4%.
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, I'm almost certain it'll get bigger, but
yeah,
that's
what she said.
What about this one? Just to end, a couple of things to end it, small ones. ESA nixes online event and confirms E3 2022 is cancelled. The real question is, this is from VentureBeat. Dean Takahashi, he suggested that competition from Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest made it difficult for E3 to gain traction. It looks like all their eggs are going into the 2023 basket here. So the real question is, has Jeff Keighley just killed E3?
Yeah. The trouble with this came out today, was it? Or was this yesterday?
I think it was late yesterday when we recorded this.
Oh, was it?
Today, yeah.
There's so many little things today. Fucking April Fools. I'm like, right, is this true or not?
Yeah.
Did you see the Metal Gear Solid website?
Is that fake?
That's fake. The fucking bastards.
Is it?
Just so it's been confirmed. Konami have said it's fake. Fucking bastards.
It's the 35th anniversary site. Is that the one?
Yeah. Fucking bastards.
Yeah, that's why actually, from anything that happened on April Fools, I just kept out of it, because there's just bollocks going around.
Well, I only saw this morning, this E3, and I was
like,
really? Just see... I mean, like you say...
Well, they cancelled the in-person thing.
Yeah.
And then they said, we're going to do a digital one. I guess they've thought, right, let's start organising this. And everyone's like, no, we're with Jeff. And they're like, All right. Well, maybe we won't bother this year because no one's expecting much. They have said that they're promising a reinvigorated showcase in 2023 with both physical and digital parts. And hopefully that happens, I guess. But Jeff's got it on lockdown. He's got a year here where he can really, he can be like the Game Pass, just rolling into all the media outlets, and they're all like, Games Fest. And he's like, yeah, this is it. Get rid of E3. Last one, the last kick in the teeth for Jim Ryan potentially. Xbox Game Pass rumour. Family membership potentially coming.
Ooh.
So 5 people could share a family membership at a cut. Wow. Maybe that could be. Maybe one day that'll be a perk for the Patreon tiers if people
possibly
keep hashtag hand in pocket in. That could be. I won't ever commit to that. It's silly. I shouldn't have even said it because now people are like, oh, he said. No, but that could be a way to pay Phil even less money. I'm all up for paying less if they're going to give me an option. So I will definitely be looking out for that if and when it gets confirmed and finding out the details, because you can do it on Nintendo. Probably something we should look into actually between us.
Yeah, I think they've even done one for their new bonus one.
I might investigate that and see whether that's worth doing between X amount of people. Because
Sam will be down for that.
Why not? Anyway, that's all for this week. Well, it's not actually. They're going to get some game impressions pre-recorded being rolled out. We will be back next week, so you'll get something there. Yep. However, the week after will be Easter weekend, so we'll have our first weekend off of the year.
Lovely.
So I'll be going out eating and drinking, I think. But we'll be back the following week because any bank holidays we take the week off basically. So we're there next week. We're back again, and I don't know what gaming impressions you're getting. So again,
make it up.
You know more than me.
I've played one game for the last month. So.
Well, so you've been playing Elden Ring, chucking on with that and enjoying it, loving it, which is good. Sounds like the penny's finally dropped with Biff. He's like, well, I think I'm enjoying it now. And I was like, we'll see how long it lasts, but okay.
What have you got on?
Well, I've been playing F1 because it dropped on Game Pass.
Oh, that's right. I did see that.
I didn't want to wait this long, but once...
No indie tip.
No, I do have some in the works, but I've done the breaking point. I might have to do a quick impressions there. I'm not going to do a full review because I won't play all the modes, but done the breaking point story mode, which is takes place over 2 seasons. And the way it works is that something will happen in the race, and it'll be like, right, come in with like 5 laps to go and get a certain position, etc. But you actually take control of two races in one team. So you've got this like youngster who you take control of, Aiden Jackson, and then Casper, who's like a much more experienced, kind of in the twilight of his career. He's like his driving partner, and you get to play as both of those throughout the breaking point and kind of see their perspectives on old man sort of thinking, well, when do I hang up the gloves and all that stuff, and then the young kid who's really ambitious, and how their relationship kind of they have arguments, there's on track incidents and whatnot. And essentially, you're as a gameplay mechanic, you're kind of left with certain tasks to complete in the race. You know, it might be like get up to 9th or finish the race. Even it's just one of them because you took damage or something. Right, they try and tell a compelling story. I mean, it doesn't really pull off. It's got a bit more kind of goes a bit deeper than I was really expecting in certain points. But I really like the way that they kind of weaved in the real life stories of Formula One, because it takes place in the 2020, or technically it takes place also in the 2019 season as well, but for the most part it's 2020 and 2021. And then like you come back after each race and you kind of go through, like there's a social media feed and you can read it there. There's like people like recognise like Crofty and all those people from Sky F1, they're like quoted in there. But it also has stories of like, oh, this driver's moved into that team in 2021, like in real life, like they were. So throughout the season, I was like, oh yeah, of course they did. And like when new teams started up and when they were changing liveries and things like that. So it's a bit of a trip down memory lane to think, oh yeah, I forgot about all these old cars. And all the 2020 cars are in their 2020 form, and they change all the rosters and the drivers to the 2021. So they've done a bit of research and made sure it's all accurate. But that's reasonably interesting. They're not doing it this year, so clearly they've chucked it in. And then I have started the My Team career mode, where you you create a team and drive as well, and then you handle all the corporate stuff and the build of the car and liveries and stuff. So I've started that. I've done about 4 races, and the car is a real sack of shit. And the second driver I've got, he's awful as well. So we're struggling at the back of the grid at the moment, but I'll probably do a season of that and then knock it on the head and go back to something. But yeah. But
excellent.
Anyway, thanks for listening. If you got this far, as I said, you'll be treated to some in-depth, well, maybe not in-depth, but some gaming impressions that we've pre-recorded and are going to dump on the end of this. So we will see you on the other side. Here we are then, back with some more game impressions here on Idle Game Chat. Once again, joined by Mr. Adkins. This week, we're going to tackle Kena. Or is it Kenna or Kane? I actually can't remember which one it is now.
No.
I can't remember. I've been saying Kenna. I don't know if that's correct.
Kenna, yeah.
But I know there's a big thing about it because people are like, oh, you got to get it right. And I was like, well, what is it then? And I'm sure in the game they mention it 2 different ways. So how can we be expected to get it right? Anyway, Essex calls it Kenna. That's the end of it. Kenna Bridge of Spirits, little indie proposition that popped up last year as a console exclusive for PlayStation at the time. It was also available on PC. You chucked this onto your PS5. Sort of.
I did indeed.
Went crumbling for it.
2 games at once it was.
Was it?
Watkins Way. Deathloop. And I went,
it was close,
played that for about 5 days and I went, don't know if I'm feeling this. I'll put this on the back burner and let's play this Kena.
And then you did.
And I did, yeah. I was late finishing it, but I got it over the line in the end.
There you go. Well, those of you that were listening last year would have seen that we did a spoiler cast of this with Mr. Mitch from Pixel Pint. So if you've played it and want to hear a more spoilerific kind of a take on it, listen to that because we'll go through it in about an hour. But Mr. Adkins here is going to be a spoiler-free kind of impressions look. Give us his thoughts on it. I won't talk much because I've kind of said quite a lot on that episode, so I'll let you have the floor for this. But what's got you tickled here? Because it's from Ember Labs, so they're not even first game. So we've got no real pedigree to base this on other than trailers and whatnot. What's got that Adkins stirred up and the fact that he's gone out and bought it?
I just remember was it an E3 or a State of Play or something when it was first announced, and it was just that it looked incredible. I thought like the Pixar style of it.
Yeah.
That's what drew me in. It was almost like a sort of Pixar anime game. It sort of had them like the rock characters are very anime.
What sort of name's that?
Right, I pissed myself laughing as soon as I realised they were called rock because it's just something that you would always say.
That's something I normally send down the toilet in the morning once I've had a few beers. That's what I call rock.
Dirty old white cream rock coming out. but no, it was just that, and then I don't think it was like the gameplay. We didn't really see much of it. There was very little to start with, so it really was just its setting. It looked interesting, very like I say Pixar animation, very clean. And then we started to see some gameplay, and that's where sort of expectations was dampened a little bit. I still enjoyed the way it looked.
Yeah.
It was my sort of game, a third-person action adventure game with sort of melee combat, hack and slash, if you will. And then there was sort of conversations of it being more of a PS2 game, the way it was laid out and things.
Didn't look like one.
No, certainly didn't. But no, I've got to say, even up until the day it was released, I sort of had my eye on it, and it was always destined to be a D1 purchase for me. It was just that sort of game that I really enjoy. And because it was a smaller studio, I was expecting a sort of smaller, certainly a shorter game. But I found it stayed enough for its welcome. There was enough for you to do, to go out and explore the world a bit and go off the beaten track and do bits and pieces. And yeah, like I say, it didn't outstay its welcome. I didn't feel it done exactly what it was. It almost had elements of a Metroidvania in
Yeah.
not in terms of like you couldn't get an area until you had this certain thing. There was bits like that, but it was you'd have these areas that are locked up, and
Yeah, you couldn't get through without a mask or something to
that was it.
break
Yeah,
through. 'Cause I spent ages trying to phase through the doors and trying all sorts to get round them, and I was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Oh," and then turns out you need to get an item of sort. I think one of my initial takeaways from this is that I was expecting something very simplistic, and it kind of is in a way, but it's got more under the bonnet than what I think people on the outside who are just looking at it, are giving it credit for. I think it's got the combat itself is not easy.
No, it's not. It's a challenge. there's multiple times I sort of got put down a lot.
It's Dark Souls.
It's Dark Souls. Yeah, I reckon it probably is on that hard difficulty, but no, I had it on like the normal difficulty, and there's a few bosses. They sort of make the bosses quite challenging that you can't. Typically with these hack and slash games, it will be literally hack and slash.
Just smash it, yeah.
There's not too much, it's not like, you don't have to do much outside of the box to beat the said enemy in front of you. Whereas there was a bit of strategy. You couldn't do the same things. They'd sort of bring elements in. Some bosses would have like a freeze element or something, and you would have to work out how to use your abilities to stop that. These sort of the rot that they are, these little black blobs of, I don't know what they are really.
They're actually good. They're like little cute, like little creatures, aren't they?
Yeah, little cute. But
they don't, when you say rot, you think, oh, it's like an horrible gremlin. But they're more like they're more like what Gizmo would look like, but just a darker colour, like cute little big eyes, little faces. They're like, oh, help me.
That's it. And it was remarkable how many you could get on the screen at once.
Yeah, it grows as you add to your repertoire. I don't think it ever gets the exact number, but as you start to build more and more people, more and more of the rot, they do increase the number on the screen to sort of show that scale and that increase.
That's it. And then you could implement moves into there, so you would have like flowers, I think it was, and you could take that, then you whip these rot into like a sort of form of dragon type thing, and you could slam and stuff. And I found that they sort of made each boss battle was like a bit of a puzzle. You had to sort of work out how to do the best damage against it. Like I say, it was definitely challenging in elements. There was certain enemies. I remember them bloody mages, I think it was. That they chuck out orbs at you. And you'd be like, right, what is this? And then they chuck a couple.
And they heal themselves as well. And
exactly, yeah. So it's definitely challenging at times. This wasn't an easy run of the mill fucking Banjo-Kazooie game.
No.
That some people may compare it to these PS2 games, but I've got to say, I enjoyed the combat. I enjoyed the sort of world building and story. This, I think you told me, I didn't realise this at the time, but the studio were an animation studio before making games.
Yeah.
And this shines through in this game completely. Like, the presentation in the cutscenes, to its fault a little bit in terms of there is no seamless transfer from gameplay to cutscene. It really is fade to black and you're introduced to a cutscene, but
which has been rendered differently at a lower frame rate.
That was the kicker as well. This was one of the first games to come out on this PS5, and it was lovely to play this at a solid 60, looking gorgeous as well in its presentation. But then you would be cut down, screen fade to black, and then presented with a beautifully gorgeous, fully rendered cutscene. But like you say, cut down to 30 to give it that cinematic
30 old 30.
30 old rot 30. Keep in there.
30 rotters.
But no, everything really melded together correctly.
Rotter.
The rotter. The music was spot on. The characters, there was some weight to the story. There was, it had that sort of Pixar-esque message that they tend to have, these films. Like I said before, it didn't outstay its welcome. The combat was challenging and fun. There was a plethora of things to do in that world.
Yeah, you got your bow, you got your bombs, you got your normal staff that you can upgrade with different abilities. Yeah, there's all sorts you can mix together.
Yeah, and there was collectibles there for the trophy geeks like myself. not really been into that recently, but it's something I'd like to get back into if I had time. But yeah, it ticks all the boxes. It's a hard one to fault. I mean, I say maybe it might be. I suppose that is probably to its fault of its simplicity that we have been spoiled by the new age of games for these sort of things. So when you do get taken away, this seamless transfer and maybe that. But no, I do struggle to sort of fault it. It's not the perfect game. It's not by any stretch, but it is a very good game. A very good, and I was sort of left more happy with what I was expecting to be. It's sort of
over delivered.
over delivered. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it does. I was expecting a sub sort of experience because of it being an indie studio and a smaller game, but in my eyes, it over delivered.
Yeah, I agree with almost all of that. Like, it absolutely did was something that came along, and I was a bit like, well, probably won't be all that. And then the reviews came in; they were mostly good. There's a few lower ones, and I was a bit like, yeah, that kind of spells, it could be trouble. But the opening was a bit slow, I think. But once you get past that sort of open area and go off and sort of do the first main boss, it kind of picks up nicely, and then that's when they start introducing you to new items. At the time when I got the bow, and then you use the bow to, like, not grapple hook, but similar, over a ledge onto like a plant, it would attach you and pull you along. I was like, that feels really good. Yeah. And then, you get other combinations and other abilities later on down the line there where you're combining that with another, piece that you'll get later on in the game. It just felt like it was a good sense of progression, like a nice curve of, like, complexity in combat and complexity in the puzzle solving. There's a lot of puzzles in this as well.
A lot of puzzles in this, yeah, it was. And again, conclusion with the rot. I remember there's one thing, I've just remembered it, so I will mention it. One thing that did bug me was a lot in its bosses was the checkpoint system.
Right.
If you died, I think there was a couple of bosses that were quite lengthy bosses. If I died, then it would then checkpoint me back to before, where it then give me a cutscene which I couldn't skip.
Oh,
I believe so. Probably there might have been a feature now where you can skip them, but I remember having to watch this cutscene and then start the boss battle. I was expecting just to be a complete reset and fight, but it kept chucking me back, and that did annoy me a couple of times. But
that in general annoys me when you die and go back to before a cutscene. There should be an option to just go straight back into the fight.
Yeah,
because I feel obligated to watch the cutscene.
Yeah,
but in this game in particular, there were times when I was struggling, and I was like, I ain't watching that again. So I would just skip through. And there's moments sort of like sometimes in between or during the boss battle where you move to the next phase, where it'll break away and show you something, and those you can't skip either sometimes. So
no.
there is I just want games to give me the option to jump straight back into the action, or go, I don't know why you would choose to go before, maybe you want to go and upgrade or change your gear. That's the only thing I can think of. But I would like the option of just being dropped straight back into the fight. Final Fantasy did that. Yeah. They'd have a big, like, long cutscene. I mean, you could skip them all, to be fair. But again, because I felt obligated to watch them, I was like, oh, God, I've got to listen to Cloud moaning now for 12 minutes, and then I'm going to fight this boss and then die right at the end and do it again. I want games to go, right, back in the action, off you go. None of this. Don't need to see the cutscene again. Why are you showing me that?
No.
Anyway.
I totally agree. But no, I can't say there's nothing really more to add, but... Ticked all the boxes, was a pleasant surprise. Would recommend playing it, definitely. I can't wait to see what the studio do, because I'm hoping it sold well. Brilliant thing to say about it. There's room for improvement, and I hope
as a first go. I mean, how?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they can carry on the franchise or go for a complete separate IP. But no, I like the look of it from the start and was happy with what I'd give Kenner a solid 8.5.
Excellent. Yep. I don't think I actually gave my score on the Spartacus, but I think I'll give it a solid 8. It'd be slightly harsh, but I think I'm definitely swaying on the 8.5 there. But there's not a lot wrong with this game whatsoever.
No.
You know, coming with expectations where they should be set, and you will be delivered a good little game. Something it may well be a bit of a throwback, but that's not bad. You know, I don't know why these games went away for so long.
No, it's true.
They're good fun when you get down to it. I don't need fucking hour Bloatville open world. You don't need that all the time.
No, dear not. No, it was a fresh take, especially after playing sort of 10, 15 hours of Deathloop. First-person shooters are not typically my jam. I'm happy to play them and stuff, but I am a third-person action-adventure game, so to go into this, it was my jam, and I enjoyed.
Excellent. Well, that's Kena or Kenna, Bridge of Spirits, 8.5 from Adkins and a solid 8 from me. Little bonus game here. So I think what we agreed was that any games released before the Xbox One / PS4 era, so end of 2013, we're still willing to talk about, but perhaps not score them for whatever reason. I think because the first one you did was bloody hell, Portal.
Yeah.
This game's 15 years old. What are we doing? But you played some interesting games over the last few years, and the one that caught my eye first of all was Torchlight. Because I don't have a fucking clue what this is.
No.
So I need you to explain to me the beauty of Torchlight and how that even got a look in. I mean, when was it? How old is this game? What are we doing?
This is fucking hell. This was on the Xbox, was it? OG Xbox. I mean, it's a PC game, is why I had it. I've had it on my Torchlight 2 was big noise.
Okay.
And this is what I know the Clarky played for it quite a few hours. They were playing co-op.
2009.
2009, was it Xbox? Was it a 360 game? Was it? It might have been an arcade 360 arcade game. It might have been as well. But anyway, yeah, thing was big noise. Basically, this is a fantasy type setting Diablo clone.
Right. Okay.
Basically, so it's an ARPG, action RPG role playing game, and it's very much point and click and attack, going through dungeon crawling, and yeah, this is a fantasy setting about this town. I think there's a town called Torchlight. I think it is, possibly. And you have three. Like, it's so old. You've only got 3 classes. So there's like a mage, a brawler, and a range person. Shoot, a bowman, a little bowman. And yeah, what it is there's these dungeons that the city that's underneath this dungeon that's underneath this town of Torchlight, and there is a material down there called Ember, which you have to that's sort of basically is like the life of this city, and you're just going from down to these dungeons, and you're going through all the it's basically SteamWorld Dig, and you're just going through, clicking on the enemies, and in typical ARPG, you know, it drops. There's loot, the absolute like fucking Diablo, the loot, and you're picking it up, upgrading it, moving to the next floor. Where
are you solo, or do you have a party with you, or are you just one person?
No, you're solo, but you have a dog with you that he sort of helps out a little bit.
So you choose your class and you head off on solo missions.
Doggy he'll do little bits and pieces.
Can it die,
for you.
the dog?
He gets a timeout. He don't permanently die, but he does die and fucks off. He fucks off back to town as well. He also has a little storage capacity, so you can fill him full of your loot and then send him off. To be honest, when you do, I think it's about 2 minutes you're without him, and you do start thinking, cool, fucking hell, because sometimes they take the focus away from you.
Yes.
So when you start getting mobbed by these enemies, it's quite nice having him. But yeah, it's
man's best friend.
It's very, very basic. There was an annoyance level gating system it was only like the last sort of 5 rooms.
That's
worse. 5 levels. Exactly.
Do it all the way through, and then you know to expect it. Don't just suddenly go, right, last part of the game, here you go, crapped in trousers, you need 10 levels.
That's it, 5th. That's what I love about these games. Pure ultimate. This is not normally my way of playing games. I do not like the mouse and keyboard setup. I'm a controller boy. And I played this game entirely mouse and keyboard because I could just literally sit here, mong out, and I'm just clicking. I'm clicking here. I'm pressing buttons to put my health up and do me magic up and whatnot. And it's nice and easy to use the HUD for changing me fucking armor pieces and whatnot and chucking stuff out, selling. And that's it. So for about 15 hours, I was just sat there mogging lovely, simplistic gameplay. And yeah, then I started to hit a wall and I was like, God, I'm getting drilled here. What's going on here? So then I had to backtrack on a couple of fucking levels. I had to go back through them to just sort of farm some more stuff to upgrade my character. I was like, right, why have they done this on the last couple of hours? And then I've managed to scrape my way through the last boss to get it done. That was a chat. I feel like I was underpowered for that as well, but no, it was
true
pleasant.
breakneck style.
True breakneck style. It was. This was right at the end of the year. I played that 15 hours. I think I put about 18 hours into the game in the end. I think I checked my Steam logs, but I wish I'll probably be able to find out actually, see if I can do it on the fly of when I actually started. But this was one of my classic Adkins games. I started this years ago, and finished it like the back end of it was beginning it was the very last week of last year, 2021. But yeah, it was just a nice, and this is the Adkins brain working again. Like I say, Torchlight 2 is a very big noise. Can pick it up cheap. It's the better game apparently. So
That's
I'm looking
got
forward to
co-op.
playing through that.
I'm reading it.
Co-op included, so very good.
You were correct on the original actually. It came to Xbox 360 in 2011 versus via Xbox Live Arcade. So Adkins brain remembering these little details.
Oh, it was. Oh wow.
But yeah, it's PC first in 2009 and then arrived on the Xbox in 2011.
So
11 years ago. Lovely old job. Looks like we've had a bit of a technical flump there, but it looks like you're back in the room.
Yeah. I think it's because I loaded up Steam. It fucked me up. But no. Classic weekly internet playing up. But yeah, no, does exactly what it's on the tin. These games will not be for everyone because of their simplicity.
If I didn't like Diablo, I'm not going to like this.
Not really, no. There's nothing. The story, these games, the fucking Diablo boys will chop me bollocks off of there, but these ain't story games. These are mong back and click and play and fucking grind. There's end game shit to do. There was stuff on this I could have done, but after 18 hours of clicking a button, my fucking finger was killing. And there's only so much fun, but I do enjoy these games. That's why I went through them. There's a couple I want to get involved in. Lost Ark being one of them I've been sniffing at. There's a few to be had, but the Adkins brain said, well, I want to play this too. I can't be jumping at 2, so I'm gonna have to go through this. But yeah, enjoyable experience. Very dated now, like I say. It's an old game. Still looks all right for what it is on that PC. Maxed up to 4K. Had that running on that absolute beast back here. Perfect 4K, probably about 240 FPS I was getting. Absolute gorgeous it was. But them old games are golden. But yeah, worth a pop if you're interested in the ARPG genre. I think there's number 3 that's just come out now, and there's also a spin-off game that's coming out.
I've looked at their history. They've done Torchlight 2 in 2012, and then a game called Hob in 2017. I don't know if that's a similar sort of game, but that's from the Runic Games boys and or gals. I don't know if they've done a third one. Doesn't look like they have. But no. Torchlight 3 was released in 2020. Let's just get that. That was actually developed by a different firm, it looks like. Extra Games. So I don't know what happened there. But those boys have taken it over. And that's on all current platforms now. But Torchlight, little golden oldie for Adkins.
Yeah, little golden oldie, yeah. I'd give it a solid 7, I reckon.
He's not supposed to give scores out for them. They're too old.
Oh, was I not?
Bloody hell, now I've got to re-record everything.
No, I chucked it out. There for the thing. Don't log that, but that's where I'm sitting. I was about to say 6.5, but that seems a bit harsh.
Cracked on it.
Yeah, it's
like I say, they ain't going to be winning any. Well, Diablo 4 might win an award, but this
comes
game
out.
didn't go wrong. But yeah, certainly if you want to just these type of PC games that you just want to rot and play and feel like I felt like a true master race playing this game. It's a real master race game.
There you go, lording over the rest
yeah.
of us with his master
yeah.
race setup. Well,
That's it.
nice to get some Kena and Torchlight in. We're again going to log off for the week. If you made it this far, as usual, thank you for joining us. DimpDigital.com is our website, or you can go to patreon.com/DimpDigital if you wish to support this grassroots independent mess that we sometimes call it. It's a bit of a mess sometimes, but we're doing our best to bring you entertainment on a Monday that you need. Anyway, too much waffling. Thanks for your time, and ta-da.
This was a Dimp Digital production.